Hey, everybody, welcome to Last Week from the Table for November 17th, 2020. I am your host, DM Gallibond. Okay, last week was a really interesting week. We had three good, fun game sessions, um, and the players all enjoyed themselves, and we had a new player join one of the games. We've also opened up another game, or we've also opened up one of the games to additional players due to some attrition. So let's go ahead and get on with the show. All right, Thursday nights, 8 p.m., we are doing the Sword Coast Chronicles. And ladies and gentlemen, we have reached an inflection point in this campaign. I've mentioned in the past that Sword Coast Chronicles is our love letter to the 5th edition campaigns, and the fact that if you look at the Wizards of the Coast chronology, a published chronology that fans have pieced together on fan sites, you notice that all of the 5e published campaigns all take place very close in time to each other. It's almost like there's when I looked at that, I said, "Huh, I would have thought there would have been 10 years or 50 years or something like that between each of these events." No, sometimes mere months between the start of one event and the start of another. So my brain says, wait a second, there must be something pulling the strings, causing all this chaos to happen. And when my brain did that, my brain invented a thing that could be behind that. So I stitched together this campaign where the same characters would weave through the storylines of the different campaigns as they were unfolding, and eventually they would start to discover what is behind all of this. So this is where we are going. And when I say we've reached an inflection point, they left Waterdeep. They decided not to wait for the dragon caravan to go north because they heard a rumor that one of the dragon cult leaders had gone north early. So they said, hey, wait, let's take a boat up the river. That'll be faster than going on the road. So they took a boat up the river. And this was actually something I had not anticipated them doing. But I rolled with it. I said, all right, you find a riverboat. You go up because I knew the river they were going up was going to take them into the area of the next campaign. And in fact, they, at the end of the session, their boat happened upon Riverguard Keep. And they saw, well, there's this old dilapidated keep there by the river. And there's a new flag on top of it. And there's some places where the walls have been repaired with new construction. Somebody must be living there. So the players were debating, should we get off the boat and go check it out? Do we think this has something to do with the cult of the dragon? What's going on? And I just let them talk, let them go, let them discuss. And when they got, when we got to about 5 minutes left in the session, I said, all right, y'all are sitting here talking about all this. Suddenly, from the front of your boat, a lookout cries out. And when you look ahead, a whirlpool is opening up in the river in the path of your boat. And then a lookout cries out from the stern of the boat, from the back. So you turn and you look behind, and you see a river galley with its oars rowing, and you see two smaller boats flanking it on either side. They're coming after you. They've got grappling hooks. Clearly, this looks like river pirates, and there's a guy standing on the front of that big galley, and he's clearly casting a spell out in front of him. And he is the most hideous looking guy you have ever seen. He's got a claw for a hand, like a big old lobster claw for a hand, and that claw is holding on to a huge trident. With his other hand, he's casting the spell, and everything that you can see from him, his skin, his skull, his arms, his chest, all covered in barnacles. This clearly is not a dragon cultist. He's something else. He's a pirate, and he's coming after your ship. What do you guys want to do? Hey, end of the session. Let's find out next week. And of course, for those of you that have played through some of the 5th edition campaigns, you will probably know exactly who that is and exactly what campaign they come from. But fortunately, not all of my players have played through them all, so not all of them know, and the ones who do know are keeping very quiet about it. So it'll be fun for everybody to see how this happens, and they're like, "Oh shit, okay." I did tell them that they're having to log into a new campaign because of the way Roll20 works. If you are putting a whole campaign's worth of content together, it has to be a separate game. It doesn't allow you to import a campaign's worth of material into an existing game. But it does, the nice thing is it does allow you as a DM to export and import characters between games. So I could take the PCs and copy them over to this new game. And I've given them all of the invitation information. I think everybody's accepted. So I just need to go in and assign the characters to the players. And then Thursday night, we'll be good to go. All right, so you will get to see what happens in the next part of our story starting Thursday at 8 p.m. Just as a heads up, we will be playing this week, but next week, so Thursday will be the 19th. Next week, the 26th, is actually Thanksgiving here in the USA. Even with all COVID stuff, we're just not going to play that night because even if all you're doing is having Thanksgiving with your nuclear family, a lot of people do that at dinner time, and I just don't want to interrupt people's Thanksgiving with their, with trying to play a game. So we are taking Thanksgiving off, and we will be back at it. So we'll play on the 20. We'll play on the 19th. We'll skip the 26th. We'll be back at the first December or first Thursday in December. All right. On Saturday night, we are playing through the Lost Mine original D&D. We have 3 players who are very dedicated to this game. A 4th player who may be flaking out on us, and a couple of people who've had to drop for other reasons. So we are opening this back up for more people. Now, this is the Lost Mine of Phandelver. So if you're thinking, oh, well, I've already played through that. Before you say you already played through that, this is replacing everything with original D&D rules, original D&D characters, original D&D combat, original D&D everything. So the party right now is in the town of Phandelver, and they have gone around and they've met some of the locals and they've found out the lay of the land, and they've decided that what they want to do, is they want to actually go and deal with the Red Brands. So they are going to take their buddy Clark and his wolf Ripper with them. Why do I say their buddy Clark? Because in this edition, the magic user has Charm Person, and with a dumb creature like a bugbear, Charm Person, if the initial spell lands, he doesn't have a chance to make a save for a month. So Clark now thinks that the magic user in the party is his best friend for a month. And the entire party is stoking Clark's ego by telling him that they are going to help him raise an army so that he can become the Lord of Cragmaw Castle, which is what he really wants. So they've already taken this script of this thing, totally flipped it on its head. Okay, screw these Rockseeker guys. Uh, let's just go take over this castle. Um, and of course, the magic user has no intention of allowing Clark to actually be the king. She wants to be the queen, and she's just using Clark. Is too dumb to realize that he's going to be at best the hand of the queen. He is not going to be on the throne himself, unless of course the queen is that type of person that I just want someone to look like they are in charge and do whatever I say. And she might decide that's what she wants. So uh, she might let Clark put that pretty little crown on his head, and he knows all the time, oh, yes, mistress. Whatever you say, mistress. That would probably be fine with her. So we're having a lot of fun with this game. If that sounds like something you would be interested in doing, come watch us on Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, or you can find the information about the game on Roll20. You look for the Lost Mine of Original D&D and Roll20, and you'll see the information about how you can join that game. That's Saturdays, 7 p.m. We haven't decided yet what we're going to do about Thanksgiving weekend. I've asked the players to think about it. Let me know. We're going to figure out if people have conflicts that night or if everybody's available. And similarly, on Sundays, we play a Planeswalking 5th edition game that I like to call the Walker of Waterdeep. This game rolls out at Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and um, the party is currently in Kamigawa. They have been at Shikotana Keep, and where they have been guests of the Aki. That is where they teleported to from Ravnica, their allies in Ravnica, and they went to Shikatana because the Aki, the way I have decided the Aki are, I've decided that Aki are steampunk goblins like a lot of other goblins in other cultures and in other games. Um, they look like Aki. They have the turtle shells that you would know from the Kamigawa expansions in Magic the Gathering, but culturally, they are closer to the goblins that are members of the Izzet League or goblins that you would recognize from World of Warcraft that kind of are all into the steampunk tinkering and commerce and whatnot. So uh, they needed some materials for a campaign arc quest that they are on that took them to Kamigawa. But because of the Kami War going on in Kamigawa, the arcane machinery of the Aki doesn't work. They learned especially that the conjuration magic is really affected, and they did some tests with some of their own spells, and they saw how those spells appear to work, but then fizzle when you really try to put any oomph into them. For example, Tensor's floating disc appears to make a disc, but you try to put anything on it and it just falls through to the floor. Mage Hand, you cast it and it appears to be a Mage Hand. You try to move it and part of the Mage Hand will move. The rest of it stays where it is, and then as soon as it touches an object, it all just falls apart. So conjuration doesn't quite work the way that that they think it does, at least there in the mountains. Now, they have also learned something from the Aki about magic, and the Aki tell them this weird thing that when you're in the mountains, magic works one way. When you're in the plains, it works a different way. When you're out on the water, it works a third way. When you're in the swamps, it works a fourth way. And when you're in the forest, it works yet a fifth way. So they have yet to get out of the mountains and yet to know whether conjuration is whacked all over Kamigawa or whether it's only whacked in the mountains. We'll have to see. So one of the things that they are going to be trying to do is trying to see if they can do anything about this Kami War so that they can help the Aki get their machinery working so that when they bring back the raw materials, they will be able to get the oil that they need refined. And they can then go home to Kamigawa because, hey, guess what else is conjuration? Teleportation is conjuration. So teleportation magic from the mountains doesn't quite work the way you think it would. Lovely. All right. So that is the Walker of Waterdeep on Sundays. And we did have a new player join. Gooniebroad. She goes by Gooniebroad on Twitch. She is an experienced DM and an experienced player. She has been a viewer of the game. She's hung out in our chat room for several months. We had an opening in the game, and she said, "Yeah, I'd like to play." And so she introduced her character, which is a Minotaur, originally from Dominaria, who uh, came to Kamigawa as a guest of Tamio, the Soratami planeswalker that is from this particular realm, and she's a bard, and she always likes more cowbell. She's got a fever, and the cure is more cowbell. So, so this tells you a little bit kind of the perspective that she brings to the game, and it's fun because now we have 2 ladies, 3 gentlemen playing in the game. Gooniebroad does have connections from other games with one of our other players, so we kind of knew about her for a while, and she has enjoyed watching our game, and now she is excited to join the cast and be part of the game with us. So we're very happy to have her. And we would love to have you in the chat room every Sunday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time to watch us uh, as we unfold the story of what happens in this War of the Kami and how the characters have a role to play in that war. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Hope you have enjoyed it. All of these games you can find on twitch.tv /Gallibond. There is a slate up there that tells you the times and days of the week that all of these games happen. We would love to see you in the uh, chat room while we play. Also, if you like everything that you find here on this channel, we would love it if you subscribe to the channel. Love it if you like the video, share the video, click the post notification bell so that you too can be notified every time new content drops on the channel. Last but not least, I will remind you to try to keep your games interesting so that you too can have tales from your table that you can share with others. Good night, everybody.